Good evening and welcome to Inside Jefferson Football, your weekly look inside the Jaguar football program. My name is Josh Powers. Coming up on the season finale of Inside Jefferson Football, we'll talk to the head coach Tim Carlson about their regular season finale against St. Louis Park and also their first round playoff game against Chanhassen. In the player segment, we'll catch up with a couple of the senior captains, Matt Thompson and Pierce Opong. And in the Where Are They Now segment, one of the younger Where Are They Now that we've had, Joe Carlson, the head coach's son, will stop by to talk about what he is up to now. But first, the head coach, Tim Carlson, and season 6, the finale here of Inside Jefferson Football. But what are some of your thoughts as you've been able to decompress? We'll talk about both games here, but a couple days removed from that loss to Chanhassen, what have you been able to reflect back so far?
You know, just looking back, I thought that game really typified a lot of our season. You know, in there fighting, very competitive. Games could go either way. In the end, we just made too many mistakes in too many games, whether it be, you know, filling the wrong gap on defense or blitzing the wrong gap, or, you know, forgetting zone versus man in the secondary, to drop balls, to fumbles. You know, those little, you know, they're not little mistakes, but those mistakes against the teams we play, you know, just end up just killing us, and it did in the end. And two very good teams in St. Louis Park and Chan. You know, if we counted beating ourselves, I think we would have had a pretty good record this year. But, you know, hats off to both those teams, and good luck to Chan on the way.
Well, the kids played hard, no doubt. Let's take a look at some of the highlights against St. Louis Park, a game that really came down to just a handful of plays. But let's take a look at some of the positive plays for you guys. Your defense played well early, kind of kept them in check. They're a high-powered offense here. They are able to get off the field on fourth down, or actually with an interception. Yeah,
you know, it's great coverage by Hunter Burgess, who had a very good year playing two ways for us in man coverage there. And again, their quarterback, Aaron Ellingson, you know, he's just good. You know, he was a handful, and I thought our kids did a great job on him all night long. And you can see Hunter just in great shape there. Goes up, tips the ball to himself, and makes a play. But you're right, we did a good job of getting out on a couple fourth downs. Didn't move the ball as well, especially early in the game, as we would have liked. Got better in the second half, but in the end, again, just didn't make enough plays.
Let's take a look at another defensive highlight here. As you kind of were bending but not breaking, here you guys get a big fourth down stop inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, it's super proud of our kids. They did a lot of motion, come out in something different. Big running back, and we just really stuffed them. We had good penetration right up the middle. And again, really happy with our kids here. Again, you can kind of see that they did some things a little bit different, but our kids got off the ball so well and just penetrated that we were able to stop them on fourth down. That was a big stop and big point of the game. It was 0-0 at that point.
Yeah, you can see that on the scoreboard there, still 0-0. You guys fell behind, but then you got a little tricky on offense. Walk us through this little reverse, and are you regretting not having Manny being your quarterback all season long with a throw that like we're going to see here?
No, you know, Manny did a lot of things really well for us all year, from the jet sweeps, and again, we kind of set it up with the jet sweep that we did. You know, he can throw. He played quarterback early on. So here he gets the jet sweep, which we've been doing all game long, and there is no one hanging with Hunter, and that ball seemed to be in the air. You could see kind of just a little bobble, and I tell you what, the coaches we wanted to get out and push to get him in the end zone there. But yeah, it was a good throw and great catch by Hunter. But here you can see again, they just played the jet sweep, which we've done, you know, so many times, and they come flying up, and so it was set up really well by the guys and Coach Smith, and that gets us right back in it.
Yeah, nice job by Hunter, too, not getting out there too early, just waiting that extra count and a half, and then wide open for the touchdown. Kind of to round it out, Coach, your defense continued to play strong, really holding St. Louis Park under their averages on offense here. They come up with a big sack later in the game. Yeah,
you know, we bring a lot of pressure. We bring guys from all over different directions in all situations. And we were able to get pressure on Ellingson multiple times. And I only think really about two that he started doing his whirly-bird stuff, where we kind of, you know, he's all over. He's a heck of an athlete. And he got out a couple of times, but not too bad. And we were able to get a couple sacks. I think Pierce had two to three that game himself.
Yeah. We'll talk to Pierce in moments. But what was that transition like, Coach? between games, so to speak, because that game was on Tuesday. We're here on a Thursday, 48 hours removed. But what were some of your thoughts? We'll talk about Chanhassen in the final segment. But heading into that game, how did you think your team was prepared for that Chanhassen game?
We practiced during the mornings over MEA, and it can be kind of a grind. But the weather was great. The kids' attitudes were great, and it was. When the weather's nice, you can have a lot of fun, and we had a lot of fun out there, and the kids practiced really well, and I thought we were really well prepared. I credit our coaches. They didn't do anything this week that we didn't know they were going to do, whether it be offense or defense, even special teams, and we were well prepared. And so it can be a grind, but the opponent was familiar, and I thought our kids practiced really well and were prepared.
When you look back at the regular season portion, again, we'll get to that playoff game in the last segment. Regular season, what are some of the things that are going to stand out from you, maybe memory-wise, or areas where the team really improved that you were proud of?
I thought we improved defensively throughout the year. I thought all year we tackled pretty well. There was a couple of lapses throughout games, but I thought that was big jumps. And playing a couple of sophomores throughout the defense throughout the year, that was nice to see. Offensively, the balance and being able to run and pass the ball all year long was nice. Again, we had some sophomores have to step up in the offensive line throughout and in the backfield. We had 2 sophomore running backs play this year, and so that is always interesting when you have the young kids, because it's a big jump from 9th grade football to varsity football, and we're playing a really competitive district. So but a credit to them, they stepped up. They did a great job. I just thought we grew in all facets of the game throughout the year.
All right, Coach, we'll have you back for the final segment, talk about Chanhassen and put a bow on the 2019 season, all right?
Sounds good.
All right, coming up next, it's the Where Are They Now segment. We catch up with the head coach's son, Joe Carlson, when we come back on Inside Jefferson Football. Back on Inside Jefferson Football, the season finale of Season 6 of Inside Jefferson Football. Last Where Are They Now segment of the year, and a first-time guest. You just missed being a part of this program as a player, Joe Carlson, but now you're through college, you're in the real world, and we get to have you here on the Where Are They Now segment, so thanks a lot for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's good to be back.
What is it like to be next to your dad and stepping into the same chair that he was just in talking a few minutes ago?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing that I get to do, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, but I get to do basically what he does, and getting to watch him as I grew up and kind of basically doing what he's doing. It's awesome. It's cool.
We'll flash back to your days at Jefferson in a few minutes, but I want to start with after Jefferson. Walk us through. You graduated in 2013. We started the show in 2014. But what have you been up to since you graduated from Jefferson High School? You've been up to a lot, obviously.
I have been, yeah. So after high school, I graduated. I went to Bethel University. Played football there all 4 years, which was probably one of the best experiences of my life, other than playing, for my dad for a year. So that was super fun. I graduated with a math education degree, and so now I'm actually over teaching at Minnetonka, coaching football at Minnetonka. So this is my 3rd year doing that.
So the old adage, like father, like son, right? So
That's
your
right.
Dad's a teacher, an educator. Maybe you got the edge on him in the math skills.
Yeah.
But when did you decide that being a teacher and following in his footsteps, or obviously creating a path for yourself, was something that you wanted to do?
Yeah, teaching came kind of about halfway through college. I think, growing up, I always wanted to be around football and whatever I was doing. So I think the football coach has always kind of been there in me, and then kind of experimented with a few things in college in terms of, did I want to go math or engineering or whatever it was, and I got my first experience in a middle school in my sophomore year of college, and I loved it and chose education from there.
Now you're at Minnetonka teaching and coaching, so talk us through what are your roles and responsibilities over there just to the northwest of us?
Yeah, so teaching-wise, I teach a stats class, a trig class, and then an algebra class. So I have 3 different ones, and football-wise, I'm a sophomore receivers coach, which was a little change of gear for me, playing quarterback my whole life. But it's been fun learning a new position. I think it's really helped kind of diversify things that I'm able to do. And you know, we had sophomore-wise, we had a great year this year. We lost our last one, unfortunately, to go 8-1, finish 8-1, just missed that
Who'd you lose
perfect
to?
season. We lost to Blaine.
Okay.
Lost to Blaine in a little playoff type game. So that was a tough one, but I've enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun.
Your younger brother, we've had him on the show, obviously, John.
Mm-hmm.
He's currently at Bethel playing wide receiver. Have you asked him about the position? And obviously he's a wide receiver at the collegiate level, and you mentioned you were a quarterback. Have you gotten some tips and tricks from your younger brother?
I have, yeah, I actually do. I ask him, you know, certain type of drills that he's done, and then I try and use them as well when I get some time with my receivers. And that was one thing at Bethel, too. I got to play with him for a year, so that was super cool, special experience for me, yeah.
Well, let's flash back to the high school days.
Do it.
Obviously, the first question, what was it like? We'll get here's some highlights. So walk us through some of your highlights here from Jefferson.
Well, this was against Apple Valley early in the game, just getting a quick pass out there to try and get the drive started, and Matt makes a great catch and breaks the tackle, and obviously he's pretty hyped up about it. So it's a good start to this game for sure. Yeah.
Now, was that your first completion, or one of the first?
Yeah, so that was our second game of the year.
Okay.
And that was probably first drive of the game, so get it off on a good start for sure. Unfortunately, that was also my last game of the year after breaking my arm, but what are you gonna do?
Well, here's the obvious question. What was it like to play for your dad? I know I always enjoyed when my dad was able to coach my teams growing up. What was it like at the high school level, the big stage, to have your dad right beside you as that head coach?
It's going to be tough to kind of put into words, but it's super cool to be able to have him coach me. And growing up, obviously he was never able to coach a BAA team for me because he had high school responsibilities. Mm-hmm. So being able to finally get to high school, and then my senior year he became the head coach, was, I can't really put it into words. Super special, super fun, yeah.
How has he been able to kind of mentor you? You've gone down a similar path in terms of you're an educator and you're also, a football coach. How has he influenced you throughout your life?
Just being able to watch him every day and what he does that nobody else sees, and seeing the work that he puts in behind the scenes, which I don't think a lot of people know what he does. Mm-hmm. and how much work he puts into whether it's fundraising or the booster club or the players behind the scenes and everything, and the work that he does to get the team ready for the game and the season. So just being able to see what he does kind of day to day, and the work ethic that he has, and to be able to put his team in a position to succeed is something that I take away and I try and do every day to follow him.
What are some of the memories that stick out from you from those high school days? Maybe it's not football, but maybe it's also a different sport. Or we'll get to another clip of you here with your first touchdown. But what are some of the moments that stand out in your mind?
Yeah, I think the number one moment obviously was when my senior year, when my dad ended up being the head coach. I think that was number one thing that I'm going to ever remember. I don't remember too much of the games, especially my junior year. I don't remember too much. Senior year, I didn't play a whole lot with my arm, but that was number one for sure. And I think, number two, I think, would definitely be that first touchdown pass. Is something I'm never going to forget either. But more than the games, and I think this is what football is, oh yeah, here we go. Here's that touchdown pass. Yeah, against Kennedy.
The nice thing, it was
cool.
Super wide open, so it wasn't the toughest of
completions.
completions.
That's right.
It had to be a good feeling seeing that ball get into the end zone.
Definitely, yeah. To get that first one out of the way, first start against Kennedy, wide open pass. That's good. Kind of settled the nerves a little bit for sure. But to take away from my high school days was definitely more than the games. Is the players and the relationships that you make. I think that's the number one thing in football, no matter what level you're at, is the relationships with the other players and the coaches is something that is super special for sure.
Well, it was great to catch up with you, Joe. Glad to have you have so much success in your professional life, and who knows, maybe you'll be back at Jefferson at some point down the road.
Maybe one day.
All right. That's Joe Carlson, the last Where Are They Now segment of 2019. Coming up, the last player segment. A couple of the captains join me, Matt Thompson and Pierce Opong, next.
I am so proud that I served my country. I can't imagine not having Wounded Warrior Project in my life. We need Wounded Warrior Project to help us in our ongoing recovery. My family learned that they weren't in this by themselves. Wounded Warrior Project definitely saves lives. I am living proof that this organization works.
Back on Inside Jefferson Football, last player segment of Season 6 of Inside Jefferson Football. Pair of captains join me, Matt Thompson, Pierce Opong. Thanks a lot, guys. Returning back for another episode, so it must not have been too bad the first time around. All right, I'll ask each of you same question here. You guys are both captains this year. Matt, what did it mean to you to be a captain? And now that the season's over, how did you think your time as captain went here in 2019?
I view captain as an honor. You know, I wear it proudly, and I think it went really well. You know, bonded with the kids, with the teammates, and just allowed me to be a leader and speak out. So.
How about you, Pierce?
Like Matt said, it's an honor to be it, and my mom always wants me to be a leader, and I wanted to step up and do that for her, and getting to know all the kids and stuff, and helping them throughout the season and stuff has been really nice and helpful for me as a person as well.
You know, you're going to have a chance to play football at the next level next year, verbally committed to Northern Illinois. Have you been down there this fall, and have you been following the Huskies this fall season?
Yeah, I've been doing as much as I can. We went down there a couple weeks ago and watched one of their games against Ball State. It's fun. They have a great game atmosphere, and the stadium's great. And it's just, I'm really excited to go down there next year.
Have the coaches been trying to hide all the game film from other teams so they're not able to see some of the explosive plays that you've been putting on the field this year for Jefferson? They want to keep you being a Husky when the signing day comes around, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, probably. I don't really know what's going on up there.
All right, Matt, talk about what's left for your senior year for you as you look ahead to the winter, and there's still a few months more of time at Jefferson High School for you.
Yeah, so I'm just going to be training in the winter, kind of lifting and getting ready for baseball for my senior year in the spring.
What are your thoughts on, I know we've got the senior spotlight and most of the plans are undecided. What are some of the avenues that are opening up for you next year?
I'm kind of looking at school, basically anywhere. I could play baseball or football, or I could go just for school itself, maybe at Carlson School of Business or Madison. So.
Okay. Guys, when you look back, you know, you're both seniors. When you look back on your time at Jefferson, not only this year but the other 3 years, what are some of those things that are going to stand out from you? It could be sports related, it could be off the field, but we'll start with you, Matt.
Honestly, just bonding with my friends, you know, having all those good times. I'm definitely going to miss it.
How about you, Pierce?
Yeah, high school is something different. Just all those memories off the field and on the field as well. Just going to be something that you'll always be able to reminisce.
You guys are both captains, future Jaguars that we're probably watching now that could step up to be a captain at some point. What advice would you give to them, Pierce? Maybe something that you learned along the way that you didn't know when you signed up to be a captain. What would you say to some of the youngsters looking to fill that role in future years?
You got to take this position with some pride, and you got to be able to step out of your comfort zone and be the bigger person and do what you think is right.
How about you, Matt?
I'd say always lead by example, because no matter what you're doing, everyone's watching you and they're modeling themselves after you because you're a role model for them. So just always doing what's right.
Final question from you, Pierce. I was surprised to see no one was holding on to your your jacket, or I'm used to seeing everybody holding on to you all season long. But all kidding aside, was it how frustrating was it to be making so many great plays, but also drawing the attention, whether it be double teams or some of the things that the teams are trying to take away from you?
Yeah, it was kind of tough this season, but I just kind of tried to do my best and like play through it, and like I would just go hard in the field, even besides with all the double team and even that they held and stuff like that. I would get mad at times. It would get to me, but I just toughened up and kept playing.
Matt, what was it like from a captain's point of view? You had Coach mentioned there's so many youngsters, sophomores stepping up that had to fulfill roles, whether it be for injuries or other things. But how were you able as a captain to kind of influence those super young guys that maybe are a year ahead of where they normally would be playing wise?
Yeah, so when I was a sophomore, I kind of Nate Chow was my captain, and I thought he just did a great job of making me feel comfortable and making me feel ready no matter what, like for every game. So I just wanted to help them prepare, help them be ready, and make sure, everything's okay. Just, be ready to play.
All right, guys. Well, congrats on the season. Best of luck in baseball. Best of luck next fall for you, Pierce. It was great getting to know you guys, and wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you.
All right, that's Matt Thompson and Pierce Opong, two of the captains for the Jaguars. Back for the final segment of the season finale of Inside Jefferson Football after this.
Set the facts straight. Almost a quarter of car crashes involve cell phones. When you text and drive, you look away at least 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's the length of a football field. Time out. It's illegal in 39 states to text and drive, but you're in danger everywhere when you don't focus. So keep your eyes on the road and arrive alive. No text, no wrecks. So don't text and drive.
Back on Inside Jefferson Football, wrapping up the 2019 season. By the way, if you're looking for Inside Kennedy Football, scheduling change. That program will be taped and air immediately next Wednesday. So 6 days from now, Inside Kennedy Football. Check out BEC-TV.org for when that episode will be released. Back with the head coach, Tim Carlson. How great was it to see your son Joe for the first time being on Inside Jefferson Football? I'm sure that's the highlight of his entire life up to this point, I would imagine.
Well, yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't it be? But yeah, super proud. You know me. It's you talk about my kids and I get emotional and super proud, and you can see why. But I am his dad, and I have to clean up some of his messes. And one of the things he kind of left out was he had got engaged this summer, and to his fiancée Kelly. So I want to make sure we get that in there. You'd hate to start on the wrong foot, but that would have been something nice to mention. So I'll do that for him. And you notice those clips. He's about 5 to 6 inches. He's 6 inches taller.
I was going to say.
He's 6 inches taller.
When did that happen?
Really in college.
Okay.
After I grew a little bit going in freshman year, but I think he's 6'5" now. Is 5'10", 5'11" in high school. So
would have been nice as a quarterback to get that growing a little bit earlier.
Exactly. We checked for eligibility, and there was none left. So,
all kidding aside, though, to have your son, follow in your footsteps, to have that same career path as you, to be coaching football, that has to be something that makes you proud.
I am. And Joe said the coaching's been in him. I mean, he was watching game film in 4th grade. He'd watch everything, and he knows football inside and out. And he'll be, when he's able to go to our games, he's telling my wife, they're going to do this and that. And so he knows me pretty well, but he knows the game. He's just sharp, and he's got a good career in coaching ahead of him.
Well, let's get to Chanhassen, because it was the first-round playoff game, and boy, you guys were right there. You played Chanhassen earlier in the regular season. It was a little frustrating as a Jaguar to watch back the highlights, and you guys were so close. We'll get to some of them, but I thought your team had a great effort, and boy, you guys battled to the end. Yeah,
they came out. I think we were almost a little hyped up first drive, because they were doing exactly what we told the kids they're going to do and have done before. But we were just almost running up the field too far on our line play and our linebackers, and we're overrunning things, and we kind of settled in. Credit to their kicker, who had 2 field goals, 2 nice distance field goals in that win. That's amazing that he was able to do that. But we held him to field goals. And then that's once we got going in that at halftime, it's like, okay, settle down. We can move the ball on these guys,
Right.
and we did. And I tell you what, it was a cold night, but we had a great crowd out there. It was amazing to see the students out there who were out there early, and the energy was great. And we really took it to them in that third quarter, and was, right there
Yep.
there again to take it, and just didn't make enough plays to do that.
Well, let's take us through a little bit of a recap because you guys fall behind, I believe, 20-0 at one point, but you guys come storming back. Here's the first of a couple of different touchdowns you guys were able to get on the ground.
Yeah, we had Roosevelt back somewhat on kind of a limited basis there, but we liked how this was set up. Again, left tackle Lucas Kitzman is only in his second year of playing football ever. And then you have Pierce, and if all else fails, follow Pierce, and you'll be okay. And Roosevelt runs hard and makes a nice play to get in the end zone, and kind of sparked us a little bit to get going.
And you guys would continue the comeback, another long drive after a defensive stop, and you guys punch it in again, a short touchdown.
Yeah, a lot of pass interference calls on them. They had a hard time covering Manny. All they did was kind of hold Manny. Hunter Burgess makes a nice catch, and I thought Carter Hansen played really well, had a lot of well-thrown balls in a tough night to throw. It was a strong crosswind, but again, the line blocked well, and I thought we did a lot of things really, really well. But in the end, we didn't capitalize on some situations that we probably should have.
Well, the defense, right after that touchdown, they would get a 3-and-out. They would get a sack here on third down to get you guys the ball back very late in the third quarter. Walk us through this third down stop. You guys were able to get the football right back.
Yeah, again, that whole third quarter, we were really, playing very physical, very fast. You can see we're in a man coverage. We're in zero coverage. We have no safety over the top. And we bring guys off the edge, Isaac Freitag, and that's Seth Krakow blitzing. Is a stunt we kind of like to run a lot in that third quarter. It just kept working and working. But it starts with the coverage. And they look to fan out and block on Pierce that leaves the outside free, and able to be successful. And again, that was our speed. Both Seth and Isaac moved pretty well. So that's kind of a speed sack, and he just had nowhere to go.
You guys moved the ball after that sack all the way down the field. Again, late third quarter. This just shows how close this game was. You guys have a fourth down at the 2. Here's the last highlight, Coach. They were able to come up big and stop you guys and would go on from there. But who knows if you guys were able to convert here, how it would have finished.
Yeah, we get open. It's just a little, we would have liked to have been a little bit deeper on the route. Just run it a little bit shallow. But, credit to them for stopping. It's something that they haven't seen, we haven't done. So we brought out something new that we've been practicing, and that time it didn't work. Other times it's worked. This time it didn't. But, once they stop us, it's our job to get on defense to get the ball back and go down again. And it just didn't happen. But I was so proud of the effort from the kids in that second half.
Yeah, Chanhasen's a great team, and you guys played them very, very tough. I want to give you the last word here, Coach, here in the last segment. But sum up, if you can, this 2019 season in a condensed time. We don't have 30 more minutes of this episode, but highlights of this season, and just kind of put a bow on the year for us.
Yeah, and we had so many games that were so similar. And as I look back throughout the season and I look at our fans who are at every game, I just hope they realize, and I tried to get it to our kids, that we were a good football team. We truly were. Unfortunately, we showed it only in spurts, and we'd have these letdowns, and those letdowns cost us some games. And we're close to having a 5-6 win season, truly, but it didn't happen. But I am so proud of our kids for other things that they do. They're good kids in the hallway. They're very good students. All the work they do for Tackle Cancer and the Wounded Warrior Project and the bingo out at the VA home, and those are things that people don't see. And you've met these kids, and what great kids. I am so lucky to be able to do what I do. I told the parents afterwards, it kind of helps me not grow up because I get to hang out with 16, 17, 18-year-old kids, and at some point I'm going to have to grow up, but not today. And I thank them for letting me kind of hang with them and have a lot of fun doing it. And before we go, we couldn't go without saying thanks to Paul Fournier for everything he has done. And You know, he does a great job on the field during games, and he's a big part of this show. And we'll miss Paul because he just does a fantastic job for BEC and for sports here in Bloomington, and I want to thank Paul for that.
Yeah, he's not going away completely.
Not going away completely.
He'll still be a part of different things, but this is his last season producing Inside Football, and well, season 6 is in the books, and congrats on the year, Coach. Some memorable moments, and I would just echo that. You talk about your great kids, but I think the kids are a reflection of the coach as well. So congrats on leading these young men to bigger and better things in the future.
Thanks, appreciate it.
All right, that'll wrap it up. Season 6 of Inside Jefferson Football as the 2019 season comes to a close. Again, want to thank all of the guests, the players, the Where Are They Now, former Jaguars, and of course the head coach Tim Carlson for all their time throughout the season. For our entire crew, this is Josh Powers saying goodnight from our studios.